Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. For this installment, the tarot cards I'm using are the Gilded Tarot Royale by Ciro Marchetti. Is it Ciro? Yep. And then text by Barbara Moore. Where is the website? Is it at the bottom? Yeah. Social media links and all that good stuff is at the bottom. I don't remember what it is. I want to say it's like Hay House or something. Or is that US Games? Llewellyn? Should be right there. Is it Llewellyn. You saw it. Supportive Oracle cards. You Are Clairvoyant Oracle cards by Belinda Grace. Illustrations by Elaine Marzin. Website on the back here, rockpoolpublishing.com.au. A as an apple, use an umbrella. Freeze frame on that and check it out if you're interested. The dice I use a 22-sided dice for the major arcana. I substitute 22 for 0 for the Fool. And then I use 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element. This is where they came from. The dice shop and the website is mathartfun.com. Feel free to check that out if you are so interested. That being said, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. And with that out of the way, let's go on to your reading. Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Virgo? Sometimes, like, you got the Hanged Man showing up here, but Virgo can sometimes make the best of that. I'm not really seeing... You know, some of the cards I'm seeing other signs would struggle with. There's the Four of Pentacles, the Hanged Man. I don't really see anything else that other people might struggle with. But that's really... Virgo usually does well with those things. Virgo usually appreciates a moment for things to just stay where they're supposed to, get a minute to think it out, decide what you want. So these are energies that, honestly, Virgo can kind of roll with and kind of like, oh, it's staying where it is. As long as it's not, well, no, even then. Even if it's not in the best place, it's kind of like, well, if I get a minute here to really evaluate and assess and decide what I really want, Virgo still rolls with that quite well usually. So there's a lot of good energy here. It's kind of like things have been coming forward. There's been a lot of communication coming forward, but things aren't really changing right now. Again, I don't feel like you're going to be upset about that. I actually see you looking at the situation more like, I don't know how long it's going to stay like this, but I also see you in this sense of reality, in the sense of like, I don't really expect it to stay this way forever. It seems stuck for right now, but I'm going to keep an eye on it and start looking at it like, where do I think it's going to change, and when do I think it's going to change, and how fast do I think it's going to change. You do seem to be getting ready for it. But the situation is not really changing at the moment. For right now, I don't see like bad energy here. Like, I don't see like this bothering you in the least. And I'm not seeing it like being a bad situation anyway. A lot of information keeps coming at you and has been coming at you like, oh, we're going to change, everything's going to change. And nothing's really changing right now. And you're like, all right, let me just pull it back a little bit, see what's going on. Are you taking it seriously? I think so. It's not that you're not taking it very seriously, but you're looking at all the pieces of the puzzle. Kind of like, people are like, it's going to change, and you're like, well, I keep checking the weather report, and I don't even see a storm listed on the next 5 days, so, okay. It's not that you're not believing people, but you're like, a storm might be coming at some point, but it's kind of like, for example, where I live, I'm in the northern hemisphere, it's summer. Yeah, there could be a snowstorm coming, probably not for the next 3-4 months. Maybe in 3 months, maybe 4 months, but I don't expect it before that. It's kind of like, okay, you're saying it is, okay, but I don't see it showing up right now. You're looking at this a little bit closer, and I feel like what you're also trying to figure out is like, are people freaking out? Are people trying to force the change sooner than it's going to come? Like, why is this going on? I feel like you're trying to look a little closer. Like, why are we doing this? Why are people pushing this so strongly? Because whatever's currently going on, you found your way to roll with it. Other people might not like it, but you're like, no, I found my groove. I know what to expect, and so I plan for it, and I just roll with it the same way every time. I know what to do. I know how to move. It reminds me of a really complicated dance step, if you will. Once you got it down, maybe it took you a while to get it down, but once you got it down, you're like, I know that dance. I've done it so many times. Yeah, it's a complicated dance. Yeah, it's not the easiest, and for some reason, not everybody can do it. But apparently I can. It took me a while to learn it, but now that I got it down, I just do the same thing every time. I know what to expect. I know how to do it. It's fine. I'm good. I like it. I know the beat. I know it's the same song every time. It's the same dance every time. Because I know it, I enjoy it because I know how to go with it. So it's kind of like, I'm like, what I keep thinking of is like, well, why are we bringing this forward if it seems so good? Like, it's good, but like, all right, so other people are coming forward. I think you see this before this happens. All right, this is partly why this is coming forward. But I think you're already on point with it. At some point, change will come. I feel like you already realized that. Like, at some point it will. It has nothing to do with somebody wanting it or not wanting it. Like I gave the example of the weather. In 3 to 4 months, where I live anyway, a snowstorm becomes possible. Also, where I live, I'm in New York. It could happen in 3 to 4 months, but a lot of times we don't get snowstorms till January, which is like 5-6 months away. 5-6 months away. We've had years where it's gone a while before it shows up, but it's also realizing at some point it's to some level it's coming, and I feel like you're on point with that. You know it's coming, and it's kind of like, you know what? Maybe there's something here where I can help other people enjoy it better. I feel like you're trying to help people get more comfortable, kind of like, listen, one day it will happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not this month. So, but one day it will. I feel like grounding it and realizing it's going to happen, but like it's nowhere near. That seems to be where you are. I feel like trying to make other people comfortable with it. I feel like you're trying to bring in some reality to the situation. I feel like I have to be very careful. You got the Queen of Cups and you got the Trust card. Maybe you have information that other people don't know. For example, if you lived where I lived, and then new people were coming in, they came from somewhere else. Maybe where they live, it comes in a lot earlier. Maybe they have, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I know what's going on here, and I feel like I need to kind of like break them in a little bit, let them know what's going on, give small pieces of information, like let's remember that you don't live at that latitude anymore. Let's remember that what happens here versus what happens where you are. You know what I mean? It happens differently. Where you were, anyway. I feel like you're giving small pieces of information. You're trying to be helpful. If this isn't how it's working, I feel like this is advice, in the sense of like you could make some really good bonds, some really good connections here by just giving little pieces of information, little facts, little things to kind of like show, oh look, not only are we at a different latitude than you're normally used to, here's the last 10 years of like how the next 4 months typically go. And you'll notice in the next 3 to 4 months, in October, once in a great while, there has been snow, but not recently. Nothing that stays. So it's like you don't really have to worry about that till the very earliest October. And if it does happen, maybe near the end. Stuff like that. I feel like you're kind of giving information. You're kind of showing how it usually works. I feel like little pieces here, little pieces there. Be very careful with it. I feel like Virgo, this is your normal thing for just the base Virgo energy. Little by little pieces here, little pieces there. My best friend's a Virgo, and he gave me this. He's learned some really good things. One thing that he does is like when he's giving information that's difficult, he gives I think he said 3 positives, and along with the 1 negative. So it's like he starts off with 2 good things, gives the rough information, and then ends it with some good information that backs up the negative. Kind of like, this isn't going well, but you could do this, and if you did do it this new way, it would go better. I hope I explained that well, because it's kind of like, be aware of how you're coming off, be aware of how the information is being received. Put a couple good things in there, say the information that needs to change, and then back it up with like how that improvement is going to make their life easier. I think that's how that goes. I'm not a Virgo, I'm a Pisces, but he's very effective, and like, I get along with Virgos anyway for whatever reason. But hopefully that's helpful in helping you move forward, because I'm getting, there can be a lot of success here. The information coming in, especially if you're received well, can lock you in and give you a better stability with this group of people that maybe you haven't enjoyed as much until now. Maybe there's new people coming in, and this is how you can kind of cement your position with them to make your life a lot easier going forward. Why not, right? The energy coming in, if there is, like, I feel like there's energy around you, it might be coming in. So it might be new is what I mean by when I say it might be coming in. They're going to be here for a while. They want things to go faster. They want to get moving. They just kind of like, well, I know it's going to come, so I just want to deal with it. I know it's going to happen at some point, so I just want to deal with it. That seems to be like why they feel the way they would feel. Kind of like, since it's going to be an issue, can we just like move it up so I can just deal with it, move on from it. This isn't really how this situation works, but I feel like it's kind of like, since it's going to be a problem, I just want to handle it so I can move on from it. Not going to work that way. That's why they feel the way they feel. Just for like context, it doesn't seem like that's really an option here. They want to move forward really quickly. They've got this kind of like, when it's time, I'm going to just grab it by the horns and move it forward. But there's other things they can do in the meantime. There's other ways to prepare. There's other things that need to be done that's not really applicable here. It's just to let you know why. It's to give you like an idea of like what's going on with the mentality there if you didn't already realize it. It's also not a temporary viewpoint. And the reason we're saying that is because like you're going to come across this constantly with these people, whoever these new people are or whoever this is. It's not a negative trait, but it's not something that you're really warm and fuzzy about. That's not usually like a Virgo thing. Kind of like, give me time to plan, give me time to do it in its time, work through it correctly, get it the best way done. That's more of a Virgo thing. This energy is kind of like, what it needs to be done, let's just get it done right now. You're saying that might be a problem, all right, let's just jump into it right now. Jump into the deep end, let's just do it. Figure it out as we go. Just go, 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 go. Not Virgo's thing, but the reason we're like trying to highlight this and bring it a little bit more intensity is kind of like, this isn't a passing moment. This isn't just like, we'll solve it this one time and then everything's cool. This is going to keep popping up. The way they do things is going to keep popping up this way, keep popping up this way. Every time there's something like that, it's going to pop up. Oh, let's just handle it now. Let's just jump in the deep end. If you're aware that this is how they work and you plan for it, like, okay, this is what they're going to do. I'm not going to be able to change that. I'm not going to be able to talk them into a different version. They're just going to keep doing it that way. As long as you see it, you'll be like, all right, I know this is coming up. I know that it's going to take some time. They're going to want to, like, once they realize it's there, they're going to want to jump in the deep end. So I have to be planned for, like, I have to plan for myself to keep myself away from that, or, like, get somebody else involved who can, like, bring the energy down before it's a problem. It's just meant to help you, like, you know, plan for it better. Because I'm getting it, it keeps happening. It comes again. It comes again. There's a lot of energy coming in. Like, it's all about how you handle it. This is where the Hanged Man shows up. It comes again. Highlights. It's kind of like, all right, so we're moving on. Like, the winter thing happened, right? So say we're in the part of the year where it's like, all right, we're in winter now. But then it's kind of like, all right, well, where we live, let's say, if there's a lot of snow, we have to think about possible flooding and blah, 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 and all other good stuff. So there's springtime concerns coming up. But there's nothing we can do about that until that starts coming, and then we got to do what we can now that we're that far ahead. And it's kind of like, you don't open the gates to the overflow until the water's there for it to be done. You wait, and then you do it appropriately, and you maybe sometimes do it a little slowly to keep control of the water the best you can. So you have to do it in its time. You can't move ahead. You can't just open the floodgates and be like, well, when it happens, it happens. You got to wait, and then when it comes up, you got to gently relieve the pressure and kind of like watch as it keeps going and mediate it the right way. And there's reasons for that. When we know it's coming, they're going to want to jump forward again. They're going to want to jump forward again really fast. They want to let's just solve it. Let's just get it out of the way. Let's just solve it. And you're like, no, we can't really do that. There's reasons for that. What I'm getting is be careful at that point not to get over involved with the explanation. Okay, this is interesting. Don't get over involved with the explanation at that point. Why? Because I'm getting that would be a good way for I just feel like there's something random here. If you get over involved with the explanation, I feel like they're going to try to jump forward and they're going to oh, well, you said this, so I did that. But you're wait, no, that's not going to work here. No, don't do that. If you get over involved with the explanation of this or that or why we're waiting, it makes sense to me why you would do that. But I keep getting people are jumping in their brain oh, they said at some point we would be opening that gate. And then they just go open the gate. And it's no, now you got to go close them. And it's say there's 5 different locks. And they opened all 5, and you're no, that's now you got to go shut them. And not only, actually, no, I have to go shut them because I have to make sure they're shut correctly because you weren't taught how to handle that stuff. So it's kind of you tell them something, and then they go run ahead and do something, and you're wait, you did what? No, now I have to go, and I have to shut them. You open them, but I have to shut them to make sure they're shut correctly. And now that it's done correctly, now you just took time away from me, and that was wrong, and now I have to see if any damage was created because you did those out of sequence. So that's don't over-explain. Be careful to not explain it because you're going to explain it in a way that makes sense, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're going to jump all over the place. And they're going to be oh, you said the locks have to open at some point, and they go open them all. And you're no. That's no. And again, then you have to go back and make sure that they're closed correctly. And then you have to also see, since they were open, did that create any problems? Did that cause any issues with this or that, or things getting through that shouldn't get through, or it's going to create a mess. So that's why we're saying don't explain it at that point. What they're saying to do is to they're giving leadership and prosperity here. So this is the advice before I get to actually what to do. Keep in mind, this is something you have to give them the impression that you have under control and that they should check with you before they move forward. Even if, for example, this was a business situation and you're a regular worker bee and maybe they're in management, you want to give them the impression this situation can go bad, can have issues. There's a process that if the process goes out of line, out of order, can cause damage and cost lots of money. Something like that. But I know I've done it X amount of years or whatever. I know for this, I've learned this. I have the background from here, from there, whatever it is, because you have some type of background, clearly, if you're in this type of position. Just check with me. I'll make sure we don't have these extra costs and nobody has to get upset. So before you do anything, just shoot me a message and talk with me first, so that way I can let you know if you do whatever you're thinking of doing, if that's going to be okay, or if that could possibly cost extra money with fixing things that don't need to be broken. That's the advice, to kind of take the leadership in a prosperity way, even if you're not technically the leader. And this is what's going to happen if you go that direction. They're going to try to make quick decisions, and they're not going to know what they're doing. But you're going to be able to be all right, this is what could go wrong. I feel this is what I'm telling people. If you do this, this is what could go wrong. This is one of those things, this is one of those times where you can capitalize on the criticism side. Not in the sense of beating anybody down, not like that, but kind of start with what could go wrong. All right, you want to do that? That's out of sequence, and this is what could go wrong. This could cost X amount of dollars. Oh, you want to do that? This is what could go wrong. This could cost X amount of dollars. And then also, if you do that, it's going to put everything back a good month. So we're going to not only cost extra money, we're going to actually lose time, we're going to lose this, we're going to lose that, and we're not going to be able to recover it for this year. Like, I hope it sounds right. Virgo is really, it's like it's your thing to criticize in the sense of like how to improve. And people who understand Virgo realize Virgo does this to improve a situation, but they only take the time for people, they only do this for people they actually care about. They don't just randomly do this, like people walking on the street, by the way, you didn't do that, right? You don't, that's not really like how Virgo works, in my opinion. Virgo will tell people how to improve things when you believe there's a reason or a value with that person and you actually care about them. So I don't know if that's coming across right, but you have the ability to criticize. Some people get bent out of shape. This is one of those times, don't hold back the criticism. Show what could go wrong first and show how much it could cost for going wrong. Because it'll snap in their brain like, oh, can't do that, going to cause a problem. Can't do that, could cause a problem. It'll slow them down, it'll kind of pull them back a bit, kind of get them under control a bit, even if you're not that position in the situation. If you're able to do that, I do feel like you'll get used to it, but whoever this energy is, I don't feel like that's going to change, that's the way they're going to handle things. And the dice roll. The Lover's reversed, and the Queen of Fire half in, half out. Alright. After some time, alright, it's a general read, take it for a grain of salt. It's going to get more difficult to deal with this, but I do feel other people are going to add in. That energy is going to start, they will make mistakes. We will do things that it's going to come back like you should have listened to Virgo. It's going to kind of come back that way. Other people are sooner or later going to get involved. Definitely, Virgo's usually good at this too. Cover your butt. Make sure you document what you can. If other people can be involved in this situation when you're telling this energy, this is why we shouldn't because this could go wrong and that will cost X amount of dollars. This is why we shouldn't because this could go wrong and it'll cost X amount of dollars. And beyond that, it'll put us behind schedule. So we're going to lose out on a bunch of this over here and a bunch of that over there. You want to document and cover your butt. Keep other people involved as much as possible so that they know what you said and why you said what you said, and that you, especially that you said that this could. You're saying could, not that it will, that it could. Because I think what's going to happen here is you're going to give the coulds. And it's a could. It basically means it's a possibility. It doesn't mean it will. It means it's a possibility. Because they're going to see that some of these possibilities don't happen. So they're going to want to be like, Virgo's just a worrywart. I'm going to jump ahead and do what I want anyway. As long as you told the could part, and you gave the possibility of what could go wrong and why you wouldn't do it that way, when they do jump ahead without you and they just do what they want anyway, and then they do have the repercussions and they start saying, well, nobody told me, or Virgo should have said something, as long as you have documentation and other people involved, you could be like, either here's the documentation where I did see this email where we talked about it back and forth, yeah, this is where we did talk about, or somebody else be like, no, Virgo did say that. Virgo said they wouldn't do this because you could have this problem in this outcome. So Virgo did put that heads up. If this is actually happening, I mean, it's a general read, take it with a grain of salt. Keep in mind, if this is a work situation, you want to take the documentation if you use it, and you want to have it in a place where you have control over it. And like, I'm just giving this example from my own life. I had a situation many, many years ago where the manager was telling me to do something, and I had said, I don't think this is right. I think this is going to cause a problem. So I was just documenting what was happening just to cover my own butt. She went in and erased everything. And it floored me that she did that. I immediately transferred off that team as fast as I could. I actually went to a different part of the company, which I regretted, but at the same time felt I had no choice because of that. But the reason I'm bringing it forward is like, you want to like back it up, like if you have to print things out, or if you have the ability to send these documentations to a personal email. So, you know what I mean? You have documentation. I don't know if that's legal. Be careful with your situation. Like, if you can't send things outside of your business, like, find a way to back it up. It's something. so that like other people can't erase it and be like, no, there's no proof of that, Virgo, you don't have any proof of that. Because I do get that there will be an issue, but I do get that you'll overcome it. I do feel like it won't bring you down, but it's kind of like if you see it coming and you see how this is going to play out, I feel like you can get ahead of it, and when it does come forward like that, if this reading is hitting, of course, you're clearly not going to like it. Who would like that? But at least you can have the backup and the security to go, all right, you're playing your game, but I'm ready for you. I have either this person or this documentation, maybe both, probably both, knowing you're Virgo. If possible, you probably have both. And this is why what you're saying can be maybe you misunderstood it, but clearly not what happened. So we can kind of go that route. Like, they're saying that I didn't warn them. I think they misunderstood, and here's the documentation, and here's the proof from other people that I did say that. Maybe they weren't listening to me. Maybe they weren't taking me seriously, but it's not my job to make them take me seriously. It's not my job to make them or like hold them down, like step on their head and be like, are you listening to me? Like, it's up to you. It's up to them to understand. It's up to them to say something if they don't get it. It's up to them to take me seriously. Is there anything else here? All right. I'm going to shut it down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.